Good morning, peeps. How's everybody today? All right, I wanted to talk to you today about something that, it's a big pet peeve of mine. I know usually I come in here, we come into my bathroom, right? And I'm like, whoopee-doo, cheerleader, all, positivity and everything. But I'm going to keep it real today because there is something stuck in my craw. There is a bee in my bonnet. There is a burr in my saddle. I could go on all day. I'll stop. Let me tell you a story. So when I started with Unique, July of 2013, I had a background in retail. I had been in retail my whole life since my first job at 16 years old, okay? I was 43 when I started with Unique. So that's a long time. Don't do the math. It's a long time. So I had a history in retail. Every single retail job I'd ever had. It didn't matter if I was working cosmetics, working in the dress department, working for Eddie Bauer, working at a video store, a lot of jobs. It didn't matter what job I had. We would compare sales year to year. So you would come in to work one day and there would be last year's numbers. So let's say we're April 2015. They would show you that exact day in 2014. Let's just say I'm working at a cosmetic counter. I come into work and on this day, 1 year ago, we sold $2,000. Well, depending on different factors, my goal would be $2,250 or $2,500 for today, right? Different factors meaning, is it a weekend? Is it a day? Is it during the week? What holidays? Is it? Was there something going on this time last year that's not going on this year, or vice versa? Is there something going on today? Is there some sort of big event today that's going to bring more traffic in versus what we had last year? Then my goal might be a little bit higher, right? Goals that are set by the company. So you want to beat last year's numbers. That's number one. They wanted me to beat $2,000 for the day, but they would like for me to beat the new number, $2,250 or $2,500, okay? Now, here's the thing. If I beat that number, guess what happens next year? Next year, I have to beat that number again and then add a little onto it, right? It just keeps getting more and more and more and more, right? So my point in telling you this is that when I started with Unique and we had a smoking July 2013, and then August was off the charts, and then September was amazing. We were comparing month to month. Oh my gosh, our team sold $1,500 this month. That's amazing. And then the next month, oh my gosh, we sold $3,000. And the next month, oh my gosh, we sold $6,000. And for a long time, it was doubling. It was or almost doubling. It was crazy. It was crazy. And it wasn't, I don't want to say it wasn't real, but it wasn't normal. And I knew it wasn't normal. Even back then, I'm like, you know what? With a new company, you can't help but compare month to month. But that is not the way it's done. That's not the way it should be done, and it's not the way it will be done long term. At some point, that has to stop, okay? So we were in a phase that, and it's a new term for me. I'd never heard of it before. I'm dealing with my dog. Can you tell? This dog. Does anybody want a dog? Is she getting the trash? Mommy's working. I thought when the little one went to school that my troubles were over. I'm going to have to get... Anyway, what were we talking about? See, I have the same struggles you do. You think I don't? I do. I do. And the brain goes off in left field because now I'm mad at my dog and I just forgot what I was telling you. It's not normal. It's not normal. That's what I was telling you. It is not normal to compare month to month. And I knew that it wasn't normal and that at some point that would have to stop because we would have to go back to a normal retail sort of thing, right? I learned that we were in what they call hypergrowth. Never knew there was such a thing as hypergrowth. Hypergrowth is exactly what it sounds like. It's growth on crack, right? It is like off the charts, beyond, and hypergrowth is nothing that you can plan for. It's something that every company wants. There's no way to make it happen. It happens or it doesn't. And when it does happen, it will only happen for a certain amount of time. 12 to 15 months is what I've heard, right? That's about right. That's about what we had, okay? 12 to 15 months of hyper growth, okay? We have now, as is normal, when you have hyper growth, at some point, it levels off. You cannot keep, there's no way you can keep up with hyper growth, okay? And I'll tell you something else as a sidebar, okay? A company, if you think about it, a company that had hyper growth, if it went on for years and years and years, that could at some point hurt the company, because it is very rare to find a company that can keep up with demand if hypergrowth were to continue. There are a lot of companies that went out of business because they had too much business. Did you know that? It's the truth. It's the truth. Little mom and pop, she's coughing up along over here. Little mom and pop shops, you know, or people invent something. And have you ever seen that commercial on TV where the guys were like, all these people are crowded around a computer, and they said, okay, our site goes live in 3, 2, 1, and they hit the button, and they all watch, and they're like, oh my gosh, we're selling product, yay, yay, and everybody's all excited and high-fiving, and then all of a sudden they go, uh-oh, because the sales go ba-boom, 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 and everybody gets quiet, and everyone looks at each other like, oh crap, like now what are we going to do, right? How are you going to fill all those orders? You don't want a bad reputation. You don't want a back order, right? Okay, so what I'm saying is we need to reset our expectations, okay? My pet peeve is when I see people complaining that numbers are slow, numbers are low. What's happening? Wah, wah, wah. I don't have time for that. It's not the truth. You need to change the way you're thinking. You need to change your outlook and change your attitude, Mr., Mrs., person out there. Change it. Change it, okay? You are not going to get anywhere with that kind of an attitude. And the more important thing is, you're wrong. You are wrong. I said it. I'll say it again. You're wrong. We now are in normal growth, which is still amazing growth. And starting today, I don't want to hear one word comparing last month to this month, or Shari Brown is going to call you for your address, and I'm going to drive over to your house, and I'm going to ring your doorbell, and when you open the door, I'm going to punch you in the face, I'm going to get back in my car, get back on a plane, and come back home. Okay? Right? Did I make my point? This is what you do. You compare last year's numbers to this year's numbers, okay? I did that last night. I looked at my April 2014. My April 2014, my team sold $1.1 million. This month, now just to compare, I don't like to do this, but for you, I'm doing this. This month, April, is slower than March, okay? But I don't care. This month, April, my team is on track to do over $5.5 million. Now let us compare. April 2014 with 1.1 million. April 2015 with over 5.5 million. I would say that that is some pretty freaking amazing growth, okay? Now, I've got a team of over 56,000 people, okay? So that is why that number is so big. So don't compare your beginning to my middle, okay? Don't get all into comparing. Comparison's the thief of joy. We need a tattoo on our foreheads that says that, right? Don't compare any of that. But I am just trying to tell you that the growth is still amazing. It is amazing. And you are only hurting yourself if you sit your little self in a corner with your little Debbie Downer hat on, that this month is slower for you than last month. Here's what I want you to do. You can acknowledge that, but you spend no more than a hot second on that thought, and you think about, what can I do to move my business forward? How many online parties do I have going right now? Do I have as many online parties this month as last month? How many people have I sponsored this month? Where can I find more people? How can I support my team? How can I help them with their business? How can I take this time to help train them? What sort of tools can I develop? And I'll tell you, this brings me to another point. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is what separates the men from the boys, okay? Because people say, gosh, I wish I would have gotten in the beginning when there was hypergrowth. You know what? A lot of times those are the same people that are complaining about the numbers month to month, and they feel like this month is slower than last month, and they want to know what's happening and what's wrong and want, right? I will tell you right now, those people, that personality didn't have what it takes, what it took in the beginning with hypergrowth. They didn't have what it takes. Do you understand that to get to the top, you have got to be tough? I've talked about it before. Mental toughness. Get your brain out of your own way, okay? In the beginning, we had no training materials. It was a brand new company. They were going to give us all these training materials, and then guess what? Hypergrowth, holy cow. They had to worry about us having mascara to sell. And guess what? There was about 6 weeks we did not have mascara to sell. Do you know how many people did the same complained and left the company? Do you know how many people? Do you know how we had to hear from these little complainers, these little people that focused on the problem and not the solution? Okay? Do you also know we had people hitting black status during that back order? Do you also know that during the back order, we still had, I think I sold $7,000 in mascara. We only had a handful of products at that time. We were still selling. You know why? Because we changed our mindset. And instead of talking about a back order, we talked about the fact that our mascara was so amazing that we sold out. And if you want mascara, you better place your order today, because orders are going to be filled in the order they're received. You get that order in now and get your little self in line so that you can get the mascara as soon as possible when it comes back in stock, okay? It was a bump in the road. It was a speed bump. But guess what? We still kept chugging down the road, okay? But a lot of people left the company. Well, sorry for you, and they're sorry for themselves right now. So I say the same thing to those of you now who are getting all Debbie Downer, thinking that something is wrong because your April numbers are not like your March numbers and are not like your February numbers, okay? Do you have what it takes? Do you have what it takes? Or are you going to be one of those that's going to let your own mind and your own attitude get in your way, and you're going to ruin your own business? That's what's going to happen. Listen, it ain't nothing but a thing. The problem is not the problem. In the words of our Johnny Depp, the problem is not the problem. The problem is your attitude about the problem. But it's not even a problem. Compare this year to last year going forward. That's it. That's all I want to hear about. I don't want to see that heavy energy. I don't want to see that. I mean, you can almost see the dark cloud over some people's heads. I don't want to hear any complaining about any sort of issues, training issues. We had no training. We had to learn. We had to develop the training on our own, and we did it. And look what happened. Do you have what it takes? Do you have what it takes to be involved in a company that's just getting off the ground. We're just starting. Over the next 18 to 24 months, we have products coming out that are gonna blow your mind. They're gonna blow your mind. I wish I knew what they were. I don't know. All I was told is they're gonna blow your mind. It's stuff that the industry has never seen. It's amazing stuff. Are you tough enough to stick around? Or are you gonna go feel sorry for yourself? Business is business, kids. Business is business, right? It is what it is. Business is up, business is down, business is all over the place. We have a great product. We have a genius format that it's all social media based, right? Who else has that? You get paid within 3 hours? Are you kidding me? And the quality of these products? I spent a lot of years in cosmetics. This is some of the best stuff I've ever used. Every single thing on my face right now is unique, and I absolutely love it. So I will not stand to hear you talking bad about your business. Get off your bootay. Get to work. The time you spend complaining, you could be spending selling lashes. Selling lashes solves all the world's problems. It gives you a PRS. It gives you commission. The more lashes you sell, the more potential party hostesses and presenters you're gonna attract, okay? And that's the other thing. You will attract on the outside what's going on the inside. So buck up, buttercup. Get your smile on. Look at that silver lining. Look at the positive attitude and understand that compared to last year, this company is doing over 5 times more in sales. And we haven't even scratched the surface yet. The best is yet to come, okay? So reset your mindset. Sorry for the little spanking this morning, but I felt like it was necessary, and I hope it helped you just kind of reevaluate and say, you know what? This is what I want you to do. I want you to say to yourself, you know what? I have what it takes. I'm tough enough, I'm strong enough, and gosh darn it, people like me, right? I want you to change your attitude. And for leaders out there, if you are having issues with your downline being negative, if your downline is constantly leaning to the dark side, you need to take a look at yourself. And that's the truth. I hear you out there. I heard a holla, right? Take a look at yourself, because they will reflect your attitude, okay? This is the attitude I have with my team. This doesn't mean that I push stuff under the rug and that I ignore stuff and issues. But when issues pop up, this is what I say to them. Buck up. Buck up. You know what? It's not that there aren't things that happen that we wish wouldn't happen, but so what? We keep moving forward. I will constantly be moving forward. Derek will constantly be moving forward. Melanie, Tracy, all of your top Black status presenters, we will all keep moving forward. Are you going to be with us? Are you going to be right next to us? I hope you are. I hope you are. And I know you can do it. You just have to decide for yourself that you can do it, okay? Because we all know that you can. And you know what? We have all been so open with sharing what we know and what we've learned about our business. We're an open book, and we are happy to be here to train you, to provide you with videos and documents and webinars. And we do these trainings across the country. In reality, these trainings if you were to just look at me and my business, if I were just to be focused on just my business and my own finances, I would never do a training, because those trainings, often the people are way too far down in my downline, if they're in my downline at all, right? I would profit more by just sitting my little self in front of my computer and working on my team and building my team. I personally believe in karma and in giving, and when you give, it comes back to you. So that's the reason, and I do enjoy helping people. So I look at the bigger picture, but I'm just saying that you have so much at your disposal, so much more than any of us ever had, and look where we got. If you have a smartphone and a set of lashes, sister and brothers out there, there's my cutie little UK guy. If you have a smartphone and a set of lashes, you have everything it takes to build a lash empire. You do. You do. Don't use excuses. There is no excuse. There's no excuse. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. I don't care what's thrown at me. Do you believe me? Because it's the truth, right? I don't care what's thrown at me. I'm going to do it anyway. And I am going to build this business and I'm going to help you. And I just need you to be willing to learn and willing to step out of your comfort zone and willing to make it happen. Okay? Are you willing? Please tell me you're willing. Okay. Mama loves you. Mama loves you. Go cry in your room and then come out and we'll hug. Okay? All right. Sorry for the whooping, but it's all for your best. Okay? All right, guys. Go have a great day.